Good evening, Periscope. I'm going to talk about different ways to back up your scopes tonight. I did this the other day, except I ran into a bunch of computer problems while actually doing the scope. Hello, AXA1. There's a number of ways to back up your periscopes, so we're going to talk about that today. I had done this the other day, but it was laced with a bunch of computer problems. As some of you know, there's catch.me, but it's shutting down today. You have about another half an hour to back up your scopes. So today's the last day to do that. So the question is, what do we do once that's catch.me is discontinued, which effectively it is in the next half an hour. First of all, before getting to that, if you're using catch.me, you have a half an hour to use one or both of these options here. So you can either download your videos to your hard drive, and that might take a few days. It did when I did it. Or you can export it to YouTube, and they get sent as private videos. And that took about half an hour. I did it this morning. So again, you have about half an hour. It's 11:30 at night right now, so you don't have much time left. Hello, Via Romano, Vincent. So again, I did this the other day, and I ran into a whole bunch of computer problems, and the thing I posted to YouTube had a bunch of synchronization problems. So what I'm going to do is run through them all quickly again, and hopefully it'll all run smoothly so we can have a straightforward video that I'll post to YouTube mentioning all the ways. So let me just get to it. So the first way to do it is actually built into Periscope. By the way, I have a Macintosh right here, and I'm running Periscope on the Macintosh. So what I'm going to do is bring up Periscope on my Mac. If that's possible. I also have a YouTube video explaining that. If you go to tinyurl.com/PeriPC install, and also tinyurl.com/PeriPC docs. I wrote up a document set that goes along with the YouTube video for that. That YouTube video ends up getting slanted like that, but all the content at least is there. Okay, so I'm going to run Periscope on my PC. Okay, so this is live. I'm running it live. So if you go to your people icon, that's right here, then enter your profile icon. Okay, you'll have a bunch of things, including settings. You go to your settings. If you notice the last one there says Auto Save Broadcasts. If you turn that on, then anything you broadcast is going to be automatically saved. In the case of Android, to your gallery. In the case of the iOS, to your camera roll. Also, you have the option when you finish a scope. Let me bring that up. Okay. By the way, the image this is the Android one. The image for the when you go into the settings, this is what it looks like here for the iOS. I did a screen capture of that. So you auto save broadcast of that. Okay. You also have the option when you give this 1 second. When you finish doing the broadcast, you click Stop Broadcast. You may not have noticed this. It's very light here, but that says Save to Camera Roll. So if you click on that, the first time through, it's going to ask you if the Periscope is allowed to have access to your photo album. If you click OK, and then it'll change to Save to Camera Roll. After that's set, the next time through, it'll just go through the first two. It'll just go from here, and when you click on that, you'll end up with this. Okay? So That's the first way to do it. Notice the first way is actually built into Periscope. Okay? Realize that when you're going to be using these features, you're saving it to your camera roll, and you're going to start to fill up your phone's memory. Okay? So really what you want to do is, you're going to have to do this by hand, just like you did this by hand. Catch.me, it all just worked seamlessly and automatically, at least in the latter versions of it. In the earlier versions, you had to do some more work. So in this case, your phone is going to start filling up. Hello, Bling. Your phone space may start filling up. So you want to be downloading it to your computer, to YouTube, to Google Drive, throwing on Dropbox, a number of things. Hey, how you doing? Hello, hello. Dropbox and a number of things. And by the way, as a side issue, Periscope, at least on the iPhone, seems to have a problem where it fills up your space on your phone, even in addition to saving it to your photo albums. So a solution to that is, because if you look in your memories usage, you may find that Periscope is using 1 gig or 2 gig or 3 gig or whatever. The solution to that is to actually delete Periscope and then go back into the App Store and re-add it. So there's issues like that. It does it on the Android also. I figured that. Clearing cache helps on Android, also helps on Android. Okay. All right. So the first solution is it's built into the Periscope. Okay. And I'm talking about phones at the moment, but if you have tablets and so on, it'll work the same. Okay. The second solution is what I call a low-tech solution, which is just to videotape your screen. In other words, you can go and play it. You can either videotape your phone screen, or you can go into something like, where is that? Let's see. If you go to periscope.tv/some username, it'll bring up that person's scopes. In the case, this is a scope I did early this morning. So if I actually come here and click on this and start playing my scope from earlier today, and it's not doing it. Let's see. I think this is Jinx. It tells me broadcast is not found, which is not true. Let's see, give it a second. Okay, so that's my scope from earlier today. It's going to stop playing in a second. So if I was to zoom into here, I can almost do it by hand. So I can actually videotape the scope as it's happening. So if you set up a tripod or something or whatever, it wouldn't be too unreasonable to get that in focus, especially if you have a large screen TV or something like that. Okay. The third way involves using the same link here. If we look, if I had a bunch of different scopes here, if I click on this here, it brings up the exact URL for this scope. Okay. So if I capture that, I'm jinxed here. My computer's freaking out. Okay, I'm going to put this into my clipboard. What I'm going to do is go into this right here, downloadperiscopevideos.com. And that runs something called Scope Down. This used to be available as a plugin in Chrome. I'm not sure why it was taken down. It was taken down recently. I believe it was also an app, at least on the iPhone. It may have been true on Android. Anyway, what they now provide is you can put the URL we just copied, paste it into here, and there's a drop thing over here. So if you click on there, okay, I'm going to put my phone on this side because it's going to, once I click that, it's going to bring something down into my Chrome download area here. So you'll see a blue thing drop down in a second. Okay, there you go. Okay, so you see it? It's actually downloading my scope that I just played on the previous tab into my hard disk drive. And that's going into my downloads folder, at least on the Macintosh. So depending on what your settings are, that's where it's going to end up going. Okay, so we just talked about three ways. The first is it's built into into Periscope. The second way is videotaping the screen, and the third way is using the scope down, which is located at downloadperiscopevideos.com. Okay. There's another way, which is to use fullscope.tv. Okay, this is an analytics site, which if I can log in with Twitter to get to my account. Okay, so this is running a lot smoother than the last time. The last time I ran it, about 5 problems. Okay, and what Fullscope does is gives me different information about the videos that I have. And it automatically does something similar to what Catch.me did. Catch.me only collected the stuff. This does other things, and there's also a premium version of it. Okay, I don't know why my computer is running so slow at the moment. I think I'm jinxed here. Let me click on this to see if I can get a reaction from that. Okay, here we go. Okay, so it's going to bring up various information about. This is a bunch of some of my recent scopes. Okay, and if I bring this up a bit, you can see various stats about my scopes, who my biggest users are, who's giving me hearts, etc. But it also stores the videos. So here's some past videos from the past 2 weeks or whatever. So if I bring up the one again from this morning, okay, it saved that for me. So I can click on this and start playing it. I can also click on here and download it. Okay, so at the moment, fullscope.tv is providing this. There's also a free version of it, so that's what I'm using at the moment. I'm not using their premium version. So I can do 2 things with it. One is this is being left around for more than 24 hours, so I have an offline copy of it. I can also come here and download it to my computer, and if I clicked on that, it would give me another entry for that. And by the way, the scope down one version is here now. That's finished. So if I click on this as well, it's going to bring me one of those. Okay, so if you notice, the scope down one was a .ts file, whereas the one from Fullscope TV is MP4. Okay. I don't know how long Fullscope is going to allow us to be putting these on for free. I have a feeling at some point they're gonna make us pay for it, but at least for now it's a stepping stone, and if they keep it that way, that's fine. And from the little I've heard from the Fullscope people, if they were to charge, it doesn't sound like they're going to charge anything that's too major unreasonable. So there's that as well. Let me see. I wrote some notes about some of this. Okay, so that's another way, using fullscope.tv. All right. Okay. A next way is called mirroring. Okay, so what we're going to do here is actually hook up my phone to my computer, in my case a Macintosh. I have an iPhone 5 at the moment. So I'm going to plug it in using a lightning cable, the 8-pin cable. And I'm going to run QuickTime. that just come up? Okay, here we have QuickTime, so we're going to load QuickTime. It's bouncing around, it means it's coming in into memory. This is spinning. Let's let that calm down. Okay, what I'm going to do is come up to the options. Under File. Oops. I'm going to do New Movie Recording. So by default, a Macintosh has a built-in camera. So by default, it's going to use the built-in camera. So let's give that a second to load up. Let's give it some more seconds. So what you should see is it looking at me in a second, hopefully. Not using the phone yet. Once we get QuickTime loaded and it's using the built-in camera, we're going to tell QuickTime to use the phone as the camera. Okay, here we go. It's popping up over there. So I think it brings me to full screen. My little camera is lit up now, so QuickTime's accessing that. All right, so this is the Mac looking at me. So what I'm going to do is go into this thing here. See the big record button? If I click record, it's going to normally do it. There's a little caret, an upside down V here. If I click down on that, okay, you notice that one of the options is iPhone for the camera and also for the microphone. Okay, so what I'm going to do is set the camera one, and it's going to resize it. Right. So now it's mimicking what's on my iPhone screen. Okay, there's a second setting for the microphone. I'm not going to change that because the last time that's one of the things that screwed up the synchronization of the previous video. So I'm not gonna do that. But in your case, you would do it. Okay, there's also quality. So you probably want to set it to maximum as well. Okay, and then once you do your settings, then if you click on this button here, you can do the record. Okay, so this is mimicking. Yeah, don't do that again. So what I'm going to do is, since this is mimicking my iPhone screen, right? What I'm going to do is load Periscope on my phone and then start playing it. In the meantime, I will click this red button to record it. And when the video is finished, it'll stop. Now, one of the disadvantages of this mirror technique is that it uses a lot of memory to create the video file. One of the advantages that the mirroring has, though, is that you will get the hearts and the comments. None of the other techniques I've showed does that. Okay? So that's the negative and the positive part of this part of things. Okay, so what I'm showing you so far is an iPhone on a Macintosh. All right, so let me get rid of this because okay, so we have the 5 ways is the built-in film roll in Periscope, either auto-saving it for all scopes or clicking it after you do each scope one at a time. The other is the low-tech solution where you videotape the screen. The third way is using scope down. The fourth way is using fullscope.tv. And the fifth way is using this mirroring. Now, just some quick notes on the mirroring, because there's lots of ifs, ands, or buts, especially for the mirroring thing. First of all, if you're using it with a Macintosh, you need Yosemite, OS X Yosemite version. If I understand it, it's any Yosemite, as long as it's Yosemite and above. You also need iOS 8 and above. So if you have iOS 7 on your phone, it won't work. Okay. Also, I've done this before. So, but when you start the mirroring on your Mac, it may also ask you if it can trust your computer. Okay. So you click yes. Okay. And also, once you get the I missed a part of the end because I didn't actually do the recording of my phone. I didn't want to screw it up. That's how the scope ended before on the previous thing when I did it last week. But once you press the red button to stop your mirroring to QuickTime, you're going to do a file export or a file save. Okay? Okay. So now there's a couple other choices once we get through that, which is that trying to back it up now your iPhone to a Windows machine. Well, if it's my understanding, I don't have a Windows machine at the second, but it's my understanding that the QuickTime under Windows does not have the option to capture and do this mirroring as I just showed it. However, the good news is there's a couple of other applications on Windows that will allow this screen capturing / mirroring technique as well. I'm going to list the programs that allow that. Camtasia, Camtasia. Cam Studio, Camstudio. Reflector, Reflector. Air Server, Airserver. Xmirage, X-Mirage. I also believe there's a bunch of open source screen capture programs as well. So it seems like there's at least 7 of these available for the PC. There's also ScreenFlow, which seems to be the most popular one. Some of these are free and some you have to pay for. I believe ScreenFlow was $99. So it doesn't come for free. That said, ScreenFlow has a whole bunch of other options in it as well. Some of the options were easy though. We're in the hardcore part right now. We went through some of the other options. So this is the most complicated one. But it's the one that's going to get your hearts and comments, Tom. So where was I? Oh, right. So the other option is now we're talking about doing iPhone. And when I say iPhone, since I don't have an iPod and an iPad at the moment. Actually, that's not true, but I haven't tested them. So I believe whatever I'm saying about the iPhone to the Mac will also work with the iPod and the iPad, both to the Mac and to Windows. So now we're left with Android going to either a Mac or Windows. Since I don't do much stuff with Android, and the details are even more complicated, let me leave it at this, that you can do screen recording on an Android, and normally it's built in. The problem is you have to do it through a USB cable, and it's normally available for people developing things on Androids. I'm going to say ADB space shell space screen record. So if you look that up, there's probably documents all across the internet explaining stuff like this. What? You have Androids? So what you're going to be doing is plugging your Android computer into, your Android device into your computer and talking to it from the outside. So if you Google ADB space shell space screen record, it'll tell you how to do that from externally. That's the last command you're going to be entering. There's a bunch of commands you have to enter before to set it up. That's the negative, bad side of it. The good side of it, there's actually some screen recording applications that mimic what the internals of the Android toolkit does. So in other words, you can run an app on your Android phone as long as your device is rooted. All my scopes are saved on my phone. Well, then you did it the first way. Yay! Yeah, the first way is just to use the built-in Periscope thing and save it right on your phone. Of course, one problem is, do you back up your phone? Right? You need to back up your phone. All right? So those are the 5 ways. Let me bring myself back. If anybody has any questions, email me at envythisstuff@gmail.com. Never back it up. Well, you need to. At least throw it on a micro SD card or something, and make a copy of it, and then you can pop it back in. I don't know if you're using the built-in memory of your phone or you have external memory. Yeah, but you should still have a copy of something, because one of the rules of backups is that the first backup is no good. No card on this phone? Well, chuck one in and get a copy of it. Um, of course, some scopes are not important and some are. So and there's also the controversy about whether you should be backing up your scopes at all. I think there's valid reasons to back it up. So anyway, does anybody have any questions about the 5 ways I showed? Again, there's another video showing some of this. I said some similar things in the other ones and different things in the other one. What I'm going to do is post this to YouTube as well and cross-link the two things to each other. At least this one is not going to be out of sync, and I didn't run into any major PC problems this time, and disconnects. Yeah, Bling. Actually, I think some of the Androids actually don't have the slots. In fact, I think even one of the Galaxies don't have a slot. Um, yeah, thumbs up. That's your avatar thing, right? Thumbs up. Yeah, the S6 I don't think has one. Um, so it's pseudo messed up. And I think what's going to happen too. By the way, when I put this up here, the original page, I want this dated because some of the older ways don't exist any longer, and at some point, probably the 5 ways I just showed you are going to change, as well as some of the details that I just showed you are going to change. So maybe in 6 months, fullscope.tv might be doing it in a different way, and in 6 months, Scope Down might be available in a different flavor, and maybe not as a web version anymore, and so on and so on. All right, good night, Tom. Have a good night. I'm probably going to wrap up this anyway because this was just a quick version of the other one. I think the other one around 45 minutes or something. So, and this one is running 20, I think. So, and the thing is, with Catch going out of business and Full Scope now offering some similar possibilities. Whoop, wrong screen. There's probably going to be some other player involved here, perhaps even including Periscope. Although I don't hold much deepness in that. Who gives you the most hearts? Um, let's see. What do I have to go on the dashboard? Let's see here. You 3.4 thousand. Man, keep it coming, keep it coming. Not bad. Wholesale Harry next. Yeah, there's some. I have to look at some of this deeper. I haven't really looked at the numbers too straight because I'm not clear on this most engaging viewer, and there's a whole bunch of numbers related to each video and stuff like that. They must have documentation somewhere. Top viewers by comment, top viewers by heart, top viewers by share. I'm not sure what that is. That's you again. Um, I don't know what the share of what is. Um, but I'll have to make more sense of this as I do more scopes. Um, yeah, I was looking the other day. I have 85 scopes. When I was looking at the autosave thing, I was like, "What's this thing here?" So, oh, share to followers. What was that again? Oh, top viewers by shares. Okay. What was I saying? Yeah, it feels like I only did about 5 or 6 scopes. In the meantime, I think I said I did 86 of them. So I'm really like, what? So, um, all right. Anyway, I think I'm done. I just wanted to get a clean shot at this, um, instead of the other one, because the other one is totally out of sync. I think at one point gets out of sync on the YouTube video for like 3 minutes. So there's the problem with capturing the microphone that does that, and I think it also happened because the alarm on my phone rang during the scope, the original scope. So, all right, catch you later. How's your situation going? I think he's gone. All right, again. Okay. All right, great. Okay, any questions? Email envythisstuff@gmail.com. Good night, everybody.